Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday morning. I honestly thought it was Tuesday, but it is Wednesday for sure. Today we're going to do a little resin art. I'm going to be making some liquid dye along with some role playing dice coasters. And I hope y'all enjoy and have fun. I'm going to start off with the liquid dye first before I do the coasters, but I have everything set up the way I need it, so that's good. Now, this is my dice mold, and this is the top of it. And what's going to happen is this here is going to sit on top of this, and I'm going to put something heavy on it so that it will stay nice and taut. I am using my resin mat, my silicone resin mat, along with the heating mat underneath it so that it'll help with the process time and cure this a lot faster than me having to wait 24 hours for these things. These are going to be Christmas gifts for a friend of mine, so I hope she really enjoys them. And let's get started. For the liquid dye, I'm going to start with purple and black with a little bit of glitter on the inside of all my dice. And the background noise was all my alcohol ink that just fell on the floor. So give me a second to pick those up. Was not expecting everything to fall apart. Okay. That'll be fun to pick up. They spilled out on the carpet. Alright, so for my liquid dice, we're going to do purple. So I am looking for purple ink to go with to make the purple. I think I'm going to use alcohol ink and use the black mica powder so that the purple will be more transparent but yet still be purple. And you'll still be able to see the actual mica powder or the liquid part where the mica powder is going. Okay, I got 2 sets of purples here. And to mix up all of my stuff, I have all of my little containers I'm going to need, which will be fun. And I don't remember the milliliters or the milligrams or whatever for all of my balls, but we're going to use these. We're going to match them up to these to see which size needs to go with which one. I think they're all going to be one size fits all on this mold. I bought this mold off of Temu, and it is supposed to be one of the best molds that I've seen in a while, so I hope they are right on that. And if not, it's okay. The mold I really would like to get is a little pricey for my budget right now, but I'll get to it. So what I do is I size it up to make sure they can fit into these things. Okay, that one's too small. That one's going to be too small. Get those out. There we go. I'm not sure if you can see, so let me move these things out of the way. Put them right there. My heating mat is on, so my molds will end up getting nice and warm. And since these I think are too small, we're going to go to the bigger one. Except I think that would fit in the... Nope, that's too big for the middle. So we'll have to go for a smaller one. Let's see. These are my huge ones coming up. Let's see if these fit. That one fits. That one's going to fit. I'll shove it in a minute. That one's too big. That one's probably too... That one might fit. Let's see. Yep, that one fits. That one's going to be too big. That one fits. Shove all these in here so I know which ones need to be redone. Oh, that one's too small, I think. So I'm going to pull that one back out, get a bigger ball, and shove it in. That one fits. And now we need a small ball for the center and a big ball for the other one. So need a smaller ball for the center. You don't want your balls to be too big because then they won't really roll right and they'll stick out to the side and all that good stuff. Hi, honey. How are you? Thank you. Tyvek's my husband. You should be working, not playing on your phone listening to my stream. But I appreciate it. I love it. And here we go. Let's see if this one will fit in here. That one will fit. So now I got all my balls. I'm going to put all these up. My washer is doing an earthquake motion, so y'all gonna have to give me just a few minutes to take care of that, and I will be right back. Love you, dear. Let's see. Okay, sorry about that. I just turned my washer off. I'm not going to sit there and play with it right now because we're going to be doing this. Okay, so now I have all of my balls are all together, and I can put the rest of them away because I don't need them. And get these out of the way. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work with my balls first before I go and start messing with all of these here. So I'm going to set all my balls on the top of all of these, except for the ones that just fall in, like that one and that one. This one I can set on top. Let me put them in order so I know where to go with each one. I do not have a pipette. I wished I did, but I cannot find my whole package of pipettes. There we go. So what I'm going to do, let's see if that will sit on top. Yeah. Is I have little bottles here with a needle that goes on top, like a sewing needle that goes on top to keep it from spilling over. I am going to use this to fill up my balls after I mix up my mixtures. There's these, and I use my mold so I know which balls go into which ones because they are different sizes. And then the ones that are too big to sit up on top, well, this one can sit in the middle here. I try to accommodate by putting them on these little holes here, the locking holes, so that I know what's what. Okay, so I'm going to use some mineral oil, just some cheap stuff. And I am going to fill up one of these, not all the way. Let me see here. These are brand new, so I will have to mark. They have little things on the side here, and I can't see them, even though I have glasses, and my glasses need glasses. Is what I go around saying because I can't see with my glasses all the time. And so I'm just going to take a Sharpie, and I am going to just color the edges so I know where all the markings are. And when it dries, I don't have to worry about, oh no, am I going to make it? But there you go. Now all the things are highlighted so I can see. And this holds up to 100 milliliters of liquid. And I'm not going to, this one I think I'm going to only do 20 milliliters of mineral oil. And then I'm putting my mica powder mixture stuff in there because I'm also going to put some glitter in it. So that you can see that it's actually shining when you roll the dice. Alrighty. So my mineral oil's in there. And you don't need a whole lot of mica powder because mica powder will actually go a very long way. I've had these sets of mica powder for about 2 years now. And let me get my gloves on. These things make a mess. So I'll show you how much is still in all of them, or most of them. And I use these all the time. But I also have some other mica powders by Doodle Hog that my sister-in-law gave me for Christmas last year. And I hadn't even touched half of them. And I use these things all the time, but they come in a little package like this. And there's different colors and everything. Oh, before we get started on everything, let me show y'all the results of my spoon rest that I made for my daughter for her kitchen for Christmas. Isn't that pretty? So her spoon will go here, and these are for other spoons or utensils while she's cooking. So I'm hoping that she'll really like it because it'll go with her cottagecore kitchen. I'm going to make my mom one. Her kitchen's blue and yellow. So I'm going to make hers blue and yellow. Okay, so I do have, I don't know if y'all can see, but I do have my mineral oil in there. So now, let me move these so that these don't get in the way and get all dirty and I have to clean them again. But I do have this. Let me show y'all. It is still full to the top. And I use this black all the time. I use all of these colors. And since I'm using black in the center of this, I'm going to leave that up. I'm getting my rubber tip paintbrush. And all I'm going to do is take a little bit at a time and drop it in till I feel like I have enough. Like, that should be enough. If it's too gray, I'll add more black. I'll get my silicone stir stick, and I'm going to stir it up. I want my black to be a lot darker than my purple because I want to be able to see it. And when it's shaken up, it'll start looking like that. So we're going to add a little bit of glitter in there. That's plenty of black. So I'm going to close my black so I don't spill it all over the place because normally I will, and my husband will say, I knew it. Won't you, dear, if you're still listening? He's probably back at work now. Okay, so my brush is all cleaned up again. Go ahead and clean this mat back up so it's nice and out of the way and I don't have to worry about it in a few minutes. I use baby wipes to do most of my cleaning along with 99% alcohol. It works best to clean as you go. Because if not, let me show you. I don't know if y'all can see the inside of this cup, but this was from 2 days ago. There is a little bit of resin still in there, but this is a silicone cup, so it's easy to pop. It's easy to pop the resin right out. But if it wasn't a silicone cup, it would be harder to clean, and most of the time I end up throwing away. Oh, look, it looks like one of those little paint things, trays, the old style one like Bob Ross would use, or Bob Ross would use. Okay, so my black's mixed up. I'm going to go get my glitter, and I'm going to add a little bit of white glitter to it. And my white glitter is very fine glitter. And let me clean that glitter off. White or silver? We'll do white, because I don't want the silver to overtake the black. So we'll do white. And if it don't turn out right, I'll make another set with the silver. I don't know where I got these glitters. I think they came with my tumbler kit that I bought. I had to get me a new tumbler turner, and I think these came with that. And so glitter got everywhere. The only color I don't have in there is gold because it busted. But there's my glitter. It's open. And I'm just cleaning up the lid real quick because it's got a lot of gold on it. And I really don't want the gold in this black or in any other color that I'm not using gold with. Okay. So here we go. I don't know if you can see the inside. Now you're not going to be able to see the inside unless I tump this side. So I'm going to do a little at a time. And I'm going to pour. So I got pouring glitter in. Move my thumb and my stir stick and see if you can see the glitter, all that white in there. And I'm just going to stir it up. So the glitter's not coming through. So you cannot see the glitter. Now, this will never harden. This will never harden because it is mineral oil. So got to remember that. So I'm not going to use white because it's not working. Even though there's a lot of white in there. How about we try the silver and see if it will make it glisten. Hi, Haste! Aww. Thank you, Haste, for the raid. And everybody that come along, hello. Please type in the chat and say hi. Raid! Yes, and we're raiding tonight on Dungeons and Dragons, aren't we? Alright. I am going to add my silver and see if that works any better. If not, we're just going to run with what it is. So, there's the silver. Lots of it. Where's my batfish? Haste is a good friend of mine. We played Dungeons and Dragons together. He does all kinds of neat little emojis, and he made one that we call Batfish, and it's really cool looking. So there we go. That's what I was looking for. Glitter in there so you can see it when you shake your dice. Alright, so clean my stick so I can use my stick in a minute. Now what I'm going to do, move this over here so y'all can see what I'm going to do. And I'm getting my little thing here, my little bottle, and I'm going to pour some of this into this so I can stick it in these balls. Then I'll show you what I do next. Oh yeah. Just hope the glitter doesn't clog up the top of my piece here. Alright, so I'm taking my needle out. And I'm going to start with this little ball here. Get it straightened up again. And I am just pouring this black in. Like so. And I'm going to fill it up as much as I possibly can. Because on top, I am adding something else to keep the liquid from falling out. There we go. Yeah. Cool cat, huh? And when I get this done, the next step is really easy. And I try not to make a big mess with this, but I usually do, and I end up pouring it outside my little balls and making a mess everywhere. Now let me add the rest of this liquid in there so I don't have to do it in a minute. So I'm pouring more into my bottle here. Whee! Now with the liquid dye, because I put glitter in it so that it'll shake up and everything, it will settle, but all you gotta do is shake your dice and the what do you call it? The glitter and the mineral and the I got it clogged. Hold on. And the mica powder will all mix up again so that it'll roll around and you can see it. There we go. Oh, I must got a big stick of glitter in there that's sticking. Honey, what are you talking about afternoon? You have it running while you're working? Don't get in trouble, dear. There we go. 2 more balls, and then we go to the next step. And like I said, this is for a friend of mine. Her name is Aria. This is for one of her kids. Now I'm making a second set for her other kid. They're going to enjoy these, I think. There we go. So I'm going to let those sit down for a minute. And I am going to show you all the next thing. Close this bottle up. Set it off to the side so it's not in the way. And
power on.
That was my speaker if y'all heard it say power off. I gotta find. Oh, yeah, that one. That's the one that works. Very nice. I'm sorry, dear. You're having a slow day at work. But hey, maybe you get off early. Get you some rest when you get home. Okay, so I have my UV light. Let's see, what can I unplug? I cannot unplug anything on to be able to do this. So I'm going to have to move my computer over a little bit so I don't stretch out the cord. Honey, I need you to buy me a hub for my USBs. That would be nice. So, okay, so now I got my UV light, and I'm going to take one ball at a time. If I can find my other container. There it is. Get my other container real quick. And it has a pink lid. But what I need to do, move the light so it doesn't freeze. I am going to use UV resin, pour it in here so I can pour it on top. And as I'm pouring it on each one, the UV light is going to harden it so it don't drip on the inside. And This is my UV resin. I have no idea who it's by. It was something I got off of Amazon a couple of years back and been using it ever since. So now I'm going to take it and pour in here. And I don't need a whole lot, but I need enough to squeeze out. Guess what I should have done is covered my bottle into something black so that the UV doesn't come back out, and it is leaking. So Haste, did you beat your game or did you give up and gonna try again another time? Haste was playing Castlevania, and I will link his Twitch account over in a little bit so that y'all can go watch his reruns. They're pretty cool. I like watching his little reruns. So I'm setting my UV up this way. Well, maybe the cords stick up. That way I can work it. And we're going to start with the little one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the top right here at these holes and let the UV light kind of do its thing. Because the last thing we need is to have little holes where the liquid will come out, because then it'll be liquid dice. Oh, I'm sorry you failed. Okay, so that is sticking to my glove. Got it. Yeah, practice makes perfect, don't it? There you go. Practice and then do a speed run. Okay, I gotta set this slimy thing down. Let's see if it'll sit right there. And then I'm gonna add more to it in a little bit. Just let that one do its thing. There's that. And for some reason I got it stuck to my glove, so I'm gonna clean it off real quick. I get messy. I am such a mess. Ain't I, dear? I remember one time I spilt a whole bottle of resin all over the floor. It was hard to pick that up. I don't even know if we've been. I think I had to let it. Was a fun fill though. Funny. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so it's got a little indent inside that little hole. I don't know if y'all can see it. There you go. See that little indent? We're gonna add more resin to it. UV resin. Ah, wait a minute. There we go. So that it will actually be solid and there will be no, actually no, there we go. Like no leakage. And I just dropped it. That's peachy. That's me. Dropping everything. Yep, that just busted that. Let's let that dry. It's hard to work with gloves, but I don't want it all over my hands. And then, because when you're working with UV resin, it can get stuck to your skin, and you peel it off. Sometimes you can peel your skin, so I won't do that. Let's try this again. I don't think this one's going to work. I'm going to have to get another one because it's not shaking up. Yeah, it's not going to work. All right, I'm going to let, well, there it goes. So let that dry. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. Let's get another ball. Again, it's hard to see with the light. My UV light trying not to, since I'm using a clear bottle, I'm trying not to make it harden up on the inside of the clear bottle. So I have to keep it away from the UV. Okay, so we got dill there. Takes about 30 seconds to get it to where you can actually make it work. The problem is, the bigger bottles, I have to layer it so I can close it right without it messing up. Let's see if I can get that going. Nah, it's going inside. Dang it. Yeah, it fell in. I might have to get a bigger bottle. There. It was just flying everywhere. Only when haste is trying to rush through it, hence the name haste. Otherwise, I follow haste everywhere and we both die. Okay, let's see if that worked. Oh no, that is leaking out. Okay. Definitely gotta find a bigger nib. Got to find a bigger nib to put on these things so that they will work. And that's what I'm looking for right now. It's a bigger nib. And I had one. There it is. It's not much bigger, but it is black, and that helps a lot. So I think I glued my bottle together, so I'm going to just set it to the side and get the other bottle. Yeah, but we love it. Alright, since I have to get 2 more balls, I'm going to get my balls back out and try this again. What size was those balls? A big one and a little one. Ball cooking? Yep, balls are cooking. Yeah, kind of, sort of. It's just the UV resin on the top of the balls that I'm cooking, basically. So each ball has a little hole. Let's get the bigger ball. What did I do with it? Right here. Each ball has a hole in it that I am trying to cover with UV resin after I fill it with the other stuff. And since those 2 messed up, I had to get 2 new balls. And where did my... There it is. Now I'm going to put more mineral water into these balls. This big size one and the little one. Make sure that's going to fit. Yeah. Now I got it in there. I got to get it out. Try to move these around. There we go. And after I get these balls all done, I'm going to do the purple. And then I have another project I'm going to work on. And it's going to be the I'm I'm gonna make coasters using dice, making dice molds. All right, so here we go. Where did the black go? Right there. I'm gonna fill it up with mineral oil again. Shake it up so I get the glitter. Okay, so I'm going to set that one down in the middle here. Where's the other ball? Right there. Yeah, balls are running everywhere, aren't they? Alright, so now I've got my mineral oil in the other two balls. Like I said, I make mistakes. I mess up. It ain't no big deal. So no, you're not going to leak out. We're going to set you back over here. Alright, now I'm going to put some... Where am I? I'm going to put some mineral UV resin into this. But I think I'm going to try something else too. Whoa, that did not work. That overspilled. Get it off before it hardens with the UV light on. There it goes. I'm going to try something first before I do that. Get that one out of the way and this one out of the way. Since they both messed up, I'll work with those later. Clean my mess up down here. I can never stay clean. Never ever. Alright. Let's try using the big bottle instead of a little bottle for the bigger balls. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to try. It's got an air bubble on it. Let's see if I can't pop it. Yeah, popped it. Let that sit for a minute. See how that one turned out, and if it worked, we got us a winner. Blueberries? Oh, they do. They kind of do, don't they? Okay, I'm going to set that one to the side. We're going to do this little ball here. If I can get it without it spilling. I think I can. There we go. Get the little ball out of the way because it is tiny. I say it's tiny. It's a lot tinier than what I expected. Set it down so it don't burn my glove again. There it goes. While it's doing that one, turn it around. There. I love blueberry muffins too, Haze. I really do. I like them on my pancakes too. The blueberries. Blueberries or strawberry and bananas. Yum yum. Now I'm making myself hungry. Okay, that one should... Yep, that one's dry, so I'm going to move it out of the way. That one's still drying. Let's do another ball. Nope, don't you jump over, and you did anyway. I'll just set you right there. That way you will harden up. I wish I could move the light closer so y'all can see it as it's hardening, but it ain't gonna let me do that. This one's... My gloves are very wet with resin right now. Let's try this one. And that one's got bubbles all in it. And they're popping, so that's good. Go ahead and do the next one. And I'll show y'all. Uh-oh, that one did not go. Try that again. There. Now it's working. I'll show y'all what they look like when you shake them in just a second. There we go. Alright. Nope, nope. There you go. Stay upright. So while those are all drying, the first one here, it's got resin on it, but that's easy to peel off because it is on a glass. I'll get that off in a minute when I ain't wearing my gloves. Clean off the edges. If it's too hard, then you can always sand it down, but I prefer not to. I like to pick them off, especially when they're still soft. You can pick them off real easy. You just don't want to pick off the top where it goes off the top of it, and then you have to try to cover it all over again. And if you can't get it off, I'm trying with my gloves right now. If you can't get it off, thank you, Haste. I had to elevate it some because I couldn't see it earlier, so I elevated it. Alright, let's see here. If it's too hard and you can't get it off and you don't want to sand it, you can always get a pair of scissors to kind of like pull it. Okay, so let me let that one settle back down. There we go. I see it. You see the glitter all in there? If you take it and you shake it, when you roll your dice, the glitter moves. I don't know if y'all can see the glitter moving. You'll see it like settling, moving around. And you try to leave a little air bubble in there, not a big one, so that the glitter will move around. So that's the first one. That one's done. I'm cleaning it off the residue resin. And there's that one. Let's get this little one. And it's so tiny. But it's the only one that will fit inside the triangle, three-sided triangle. So there's that one. I don't know if you can see the glitter actually moving around in the camera. But it's there. I can see it. Y'all may not be able to, but it's okay. That one's going to sit there. Let's go back to this one. I think I need to add to the top of this one. I think it got messed up. If it did, I got more balls. Ugh. And with slimy gloves, this is always fun. Not slimy, but slippery. Might have to get these scissors a hold of them. Just so that I don't have to spend hours trying to get the excess glue off. Okay, so there's a bunch of silver there. I'm going to shake it up. And there you go. And I shook out all the liquid. How funny is that? Told you I'd make a mess. Look what it did. It all shook out. Now I've got an empty ball. I'll have to get it filled up again. That one's still kind of cleaned up, so that'll be easy. I don't have to dig for another one. Oh, fun, fun, fun. Okay, so let me get the outer edge all cleaned up. Alright. Look at that, all of that glitter still in there. Only the liquid came out. Oh, lordy. Try this again. Round 2. Dump the mineral oil in. And it's wanting to roll around. Wow. That was funny. Alright, here we go. Let's try this. And let it. No. It's going to go in. It's sinking in. Let's let it sit there for a minute. And let's try another one. This one looks pretty decent, so I'm just going to get my scissors and I am going to cut these off because my gloves are just not going to let me. And I got little tiny scissors that I use. That way I can get as close to the glass of the... And the balls are glass, so it's not plastic or nothing. And I can get as close to it without breaking the glass or hurting myself or messing up completely. Alright, let's see. There we go. That looks good. Clean it up a little bit. It's got a little residue on the side. There we go. So there's the silver in there. Shake it up. Make sure none of the liquid spills out this time. And look at it just rolling around in there. Love it. That's 2 down. Three to go. This one's got... So before I clean the bottom, this one's leaking out. So we're going to stop right there so we don't spill it. We're going to go ahead, since it's got the platform on it still, we are going to do it again. Pop that bubble. And if I can't, that bubble is not, that one's not going to do. I can already tell we'll have to get another ball. That one is okay. I think. Maybe not. No, it is not. Alright. That one we're going to add more. A little more UV to it. This one, the UV just kept sinking in. And I don't want it to sink inside there because then it won't run around the thing like it's supposed to. Alright, so that first one here, I'm going to go ahead and add a little top coat to it. And let those sit a minute. While those are sitting up, I am going to go ahead and mix up the purple. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with this one as I did with the one I put the mineral oil in. My gloves are so oily now. There we go. Got my Sharpie. And I am just going to sit here and color these so I can see what's what. Again, these are just 100 milliliter containers. I do have bigger containers, but that's all I need for this project. I probably do the full 100 if I have any resin left over. I have plenty of molds that I can use it on. And I think what I'll do is start on the coasters, using whatever, the purple with the coasters. Start with purple coasters. Alright. And again, my resin that I'm using this time is by Texpert. It is two parts. It's crystal clear. It's one part A and one part B. I don't know if you can see the name, but I can lift this up so you can whoopsies, so you can see Texpert. And this one's part A. I got part B too. Okay, I can bring this. So there is my balls being stuck under the UV light. I had to think a minute. Alright, so I'm putting my camera back because I had to elevate it so y'all could see. Y'all get to see my big mess and everything. Woohoo! And I'm going to put that up for now. Put that back over there out of the way. Alright, so what I'm going to do is part B first. And I'm going to, instead of using the pump, nope, I'll use the pump. No, I'm not. I'm not going to use the pump. Instead of using the pump, pull that pump out. And I see that my camera just fell. Try this again. Better. Yeah. Alright. I'm going to do 50 milliliters of part A and 50 milliliters of part B. Let me get that poured in. Part A. Some people do by weight. Okay, so that is more than 50 milliliters, so I'm going to pour some back in because I only need 50. Good enough. All right. Yeah, I only need 50 of each, so. And it's hard to judge it on when I'm holding it, so I guess I better not hold it. And let me do part B. And that's just me taking out the pump. The little boop. And I'm going to pour this one in. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. All right. Put that back together. So, don't know if y'all can see. Honey, you may have to stop at the store and get me some more gloves. Nah, I'm gonna go to the store when he gets home. Okay, clean up my mess a little bit before I start mixing it. Now, you don't want bubbles in your resin, because if you have bubbles, that means all your dice or whatever you're doing, your molds, they're all going to have bubbles with it. So it's best not to have bubbles. So my heating mat is on to help keep the bubbles out. And I'm going to take my little silicone stir stick and I'm going to stir this up. And let's see if I can move this over. Put this here so y'all can see me stir this up. And it's going to turn kind of cloudy, and that's okay. It's okay that it turns cloudy. And it might have swirls in it, because when you're done stirring, all of that will disappear. Make sure you clean your stick, get the edges, and you get the bottom. Do 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 do. I feel like Jeopardy waiting on time. Do 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 do. And you can see all them bubbles coming up. When I get started on the, let me do this over here. When I get started on the coasters, y'all will be in for a neat little treat. A really neat one. I'm going to try to get to it before my husband gets home because he don't really care for me doing it too much, but I love doing it. Hence the name. It's a secret. My name is Fire for a reason. Ain't that right, dear? If you're still on. Name is. He must be working again. Not very slow now. Haste, you still on? Guess not. That's okay. They can watch the rerun when I get it posted. It'll be fun. Haste likes to multitask when he watches streams. Craft stores and hobby shops are so cool. I can wander around them for hours. Yes, me too. Me too. Me too. Okay, so there is no cloud. I have no streaks and no smoke, but I have all of them bubbles in there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. I can see it. All them bubbles, I'm going to let this sit for a minute before I start filling that up, and I'm going to add alcohol ink to this. You're fine. You're fine. I like to talk fast. You know that. So, get that, let that sit. And what happens is that with the heat, it's going to rise the bubbles to the top, which is kind of cool. And I can take a lighter and pop the bubbles, but I'm going to add alcohol ink, and alcohol will also pop the bubbles. But when I get to my coasters, that's really going to be fun. Trying to get the oil off of my gloves so I can work with these balls. They just kept messing me up. Okay, so Ari's son likes purple and black. So I have a purple by Erico Art, but I pulled out two more. They came with kits, so I don't really know who they're from. But this purple actually turns a little pinkish, and so does this purple. So I'm going to add all three purples, hoping it stays a purple. So while the bubbles are coming to the top now, but that's okay. Instead of popping them with a lighter right now, I'm going to add a couple of drops of this purple. Isn't that pretty? Love the way that works. Alright, that was like 6 or 7 drops of that purple. And I'm going to go ahead and stir it. Look at that. But see, it's really a light purple. I don't want it too awfully dark because I want to be able to see my balls, but I don't want it so light that it's just like a film. So let's darken it up some. Let's try a different purple and add it in there. I'm going to do one. Oh, this is a dark purple. I did about 4 drops of that. And the alcohol in the alcohol ink actually pops the bubbles. Look at that. I like that smoky look. There we go. I think I need to add more. 100 milliliters is a lot, but yet it's not a lot. Let's get that going. There's a good purple. See, I love the smoky looks. I'm going to do a kind of a smoky look on the coaster holder with white casting craft. Okay, let me see what that looks like. It's a purple. It's still a little translucent for my taste, so I'm going to try adding some more purple. different color purple. May have to add a little mica powder, not a lot. Okay, that one don't want to come because it's never been popped open before. Let's see here. Use a needle to do that. That way I don't break the tip with scissors. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if I have to add a little bit of mica powder to get it not too clear, I don't think I'm going to need it though. Yeah. Then I will add the mica powder. But I think this is going to turn out really pretty. Yeah. Should have went with that one first. Okay, so there's the purple. Looks kind of black, but there it's very clear. So I'm going to let it sit for a minute while I check these little balls over here. Now, before you stick your balls in and before you fill up all of the dice molds, you only want to fill it maybe 1/8 of a way because you don't want the balls to sink all the way down and then poke out of the dice. So I'm going to check these balls, make sure they are not leaking out like they were. That one's not, and I'll be cleaning them up here in a minute. That one's not. Let's double check. Nope, that one's not. This one is going to be a iffy. No, it's not. All right. Well, might be a little bit. Yeah, it is. Okay. So this ball I'm going to have to remake, I think. Maybe not. Maybe I can add more resin to the top. If I can save it, I will save it. I am not one to not try to save it. Okay. Sometimes you can't save and you just have to move on. But we're going to try and save this little baby. We put enough in there, up on there to make it. The thing of it is, it's sticking that way. Alright. We're going to try. And while I'm going to have to take my gloves off. I can't do it with the gloves on. I'll put them back on when I do the resin part while the resin is setting up. Ouch. Problem is my gloves are oily, so it's hard to get them off. But that's okay. I'd rather wear oily gloves when I do this than no gloves because I do not want resin on my hands. I don't like the way it feels. It's hard to get it off. It's sticky. So, and I have to watch what I actually do sometimes because I had cancer and so I have to really watch all of this. I had to wait a year after my last chemo before I could start my resin work again. But that's okay. I am in good health now. So that's all that matters. Right? Alrighty. Almost got my gloves off. There we go. Okay. I'm going to clean these up real quick. Oh yeah, I can hold them now. Get them cleaned up so that they'll be ready to be popping into my molds here. Yeah, haste was one of them that has gone through the whole process of my cancer with me via DDO and Discord, but he was there. He knows what I'm talking about. And that's okay. I had friends, and that's what matters. They kept me going. Besides my family, they kept me going too. But sometimes you need other people. Okay, so these are looking really nice. Okay, let's see. Trying to get these access things off because you don't want them in the mold. Alright, so that one is actually leaking out. So I'm going to set that where it won't. Seems like I'm missing some. But I might not be. Who knows? I might be. Alright, so. Alright, get my. I did not put my gloves back on, but that's okay. I'm just doing this part right here. And I'm going to let this here do its thing while I clean my hands. And I did clean all my molds, and I did wipe them down. So how I clean them is I will use the alcohol, 99% alcohol, to actually spray on them. So anything with a baby wipe will actually pick up, and anything that falls on it afterwards, I'll use tape to help get it up. So like if glitter came in there, I do have pets, so if cat hair, dog hair flew into it, but I try not to be around my pets when I do this, so I don't have to worry about that. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. We're missing a ball. We are missing a ball, Houston. And nothing fell, so where did the ball go? Hey, did you take off with my balls to try and make some new fireballs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, get another ball out. Maybe? Maybe my baby. Okay. Let's get this other one going. Let's go see if I can use up the rest of this oil. Yeah, I'll be able to. Uh-oh. Running out of oil. Alright, that bottle's had it. Let's see if there's any in here. Yeah, there's some. There it goes. The ball's halfway full. Let's see if we can get the rest of it. So I'm filling up the ball with the mineral oil and mixed with mica powder and glitter. Alright, let's see if we can dig some of that out, because I need more than just that. Maybe we can use the old ball. There ain't nothing left in that old ball. Okay, let's see if we can't dig this out. Ugh. There we go. It's slowly pouring in. Slowly. Maybe I can get my stick. Yeah. There it goes. I'm sorry y'all can't see me doing this part. Hot dog. No, you don't pour out. And you did pour out. There. Okay. Move that back out of the way. Throw those back in there because those are no good. Watch me find that other ball when I get ready to do everything. That's the way it goes. Quit pouring out. We're going to do this. Set you like this so you won't pour out. Don't want you going to the side either. There you go. All right. Get that back over here. Reach, reach, reach. I'm going to move this right here. Nope. That's going to be a mess. Leave it to me to make the messes. All right, now it's covered over. All right, so now I can put my gloves back on after I made a big mess. While that one's setting up, I can take this one and clean it up real quick. 'Cause it's a good... Once I get it cleaned up, we're going to pour the resin into those things. There we go. So that one's good. All right. Put my scissors down, put my gloves back on. All right, love. Love you. Have fun. Don't hurt yourself at work. All right. So, take this, nice and hot. Don't want it too hot. Again, if your resin gets too hot, whether it's on the heating mat or whether it's not on a heating mat, it will get hot and it's what they call heat flash. Sometimes it will cause a fire, so be very careful with your resin. Okay, so here is what we're going to do. We're going to pour in each one of these little molds, dice molds, just enough to cover the bottom. And it's okay if I get some on the side. And we're going to let it sit for a few minutes, because what we're going to do is put these balls in there. Now, probably gave too much. And it's okay, like I said, it's okay if it gets on the side, because we're going to be pouring it on the top of this anyway. All right, so while that one is waiting, we're going to wait on that for a minute or two. Go ahead and get your coffee, take a drink. I'm sure you will too, hon. Love you. And get you a snack, and we'll go to the next part. And the good thing about that heating mat, it will raise the bubbles from the bottom of your molds up, so you don't have to worry about the molds having too many bubbles. One thing I am going to do before I drink my coffee is the center one here. Usually it is very hard to get the resin down to the tip. So I usually squeeze the bottom, and then I'll take a toothpick and I will kind of like shove some of this resin down there and then let it sit. You see all my resin work here. I can actually move this up a little bit so y'all can see it. No problem, Haste. See you soon. Okay, I'm going to take my thing here off of my heating mat. Put it off to the side because I don't want it to heat flash. And my coffee got cold. Nice. All right. So the balls will float. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to start with the center one because I already see bubbles forming. And I'm going to pop them with my lighter real quick. So I got my little... You don't want a small lighter because you will burn your fingers or you could burn your mold. So what I'm going to do is just pop them really quick, as much as I can without trying to burn my mold. Then I'm going to get my my toothpick, and I am going to go into each one of these molds, and I am just going to try to go to the edges, making sure that all the numbers are getting filled and all of the bubbles are going to come to the top, because when they get to the very top, I will be able to pop them. And I'll do this process several times, as you will see as I go. So, if anybody has joined, please say hi. I love meeting new people. I am a talker. I will talk about anything you would like to talk about. Alright, and so this one has bubbles on the side here. When it gets to the top, I'll be able to pop them. And since that one is the fullest, I'm going to go ahead and work with that one first. But I want to check this. Oh, yeah, it popped. Get that back. And I'm going to go do. There we go. Let that sit for while we're doing these others. Alright, so I'm taking the little ball, and I'm just going to drop it in. And I'm going to let it do its own sinking. I'm not going to push it down or anything right now. I will be pushing them down as it hardens before I go and put the top on. So that one's sinking down pretty good. It's not going to go all the way down. I don't want it to go all the way down, but I do not want to have anything on the top part. So to test that, I have a really flat triangle-like paintbrush. And as long as my paintbrush is not going like this or this, and it stays flat on the mold, then I know I have it in there perfectly. And that is the smallest ball I have. So it's going to work perfectly. Alright, so the next one I'm going to put in this big one here in the 4-sided die. And this next one, get the hair off of it, I am going to put into the 5-sided die right here. I gotta shove it in there. And as I fill it up with resin, it will on its own float up. So I have to watch the triangle one. This one we're going to put on this triangle looking die. I forget the name of that one. My hubby will know. Haste would probably know, but he took off. I gotta clean this one up a little bit more. Okay, it had a little something on it. This one is going to go in this big old 3-sided die here. This one I'm going to shove in this 3-sided die. Without adding more problems to it. Okay, so yeah, It's not quite ready yet, so have to add a little bit more because I popped the top, pushed it down, whatever. So while that one's still setting up, we're going to take the resin and we're going to start filling all but this one, just so that we can have these ready. And if if your marble moves to one side of the die or the other, you can always take a toothpick and move it. And that's what I'm going to have to do with that one. And there we go. I'm not quite filling them all the way to the top, except for the center one, because that one is no help there. It will automatically do that. There's not a lot of room to work with in that center one. But I need to be able to make sure these balls are exactly where I need it to be. So I'm going to get my toothpick. I know for a fact this one here, I'm going to have to move over. There it goes. And that one is fine. And I'm going to go ahead and try to get the bubbles out. And these here have corners where I actually have to shove the resin into, which is fine. I want to make sure that all my corners will have corner tips. And then this here has bubbles coming up, so that's cool. I'll be able to pop them in a minute. And see that one, the resin didn't get all the way to the tip on either side. But that's okay. And you see my ball is still in the center there. And you can't see it, but that's okay. I'm hoping when it dries, everything will be nice. If not, I'll be making another set with a lot less purple. And then here. Okay, I don't know why that's hard. Whatever it was, I got it off. Okay, so now we can, yeah, much better. Alright. Oh, I think this is going to turn out fine. See how that ball popped up? We want to pop it back down. And that one's popping up. We don't want to push them down. We just want to tap them in, because there are ways for it to get air sockets. Like this one here, I can see in the mold is got an air socket there and an air socket there, but I need to add more to it. And so I'm fixing to do that now. And that one keeps coming up. But that's okay, because when I put the lid on, in fact, before I do any more, here's my lid on. Let's see if I can do it right here. This is my lid. What I'm going to do, because I need the lid to be tacky before I put it on here, is I'm going to go ahead, since most of these are filled, I'm going to add a little bit to each of the dice tops. Because I want it tacky. I don't want it hard, I just want it tacky. So that when I put it together, it'll actually stick together. There we go. Because this is going to overflow, and which will be fine. That's what we want. Okay, so this one I'm going to go ahead and add more, because I can see it needs it. And this one, I'm going to try to get it over the top a little bit. And it's okay if it goes like in that little side right there on all of these. I actually use those for other projects, so that's fine. And I can see this one is going to give me troubles. There we go. Push it down with the resin. Down, down, down it goes. Alright, I'm going to let it sit for a minute. Let me get that air bubble out of that corner. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to let it sit and let all the air bubbles come up. And I'm going to take my toothpick and I'm going to go clean up the edges on it. Make sure there's no air bubbles in there. Then I'm going to blow it with the fire, pop them with the fire. Then I am going to put the top on, and I'm making sure all of this is getting evened out too, by the way. But I'm going to put the top on, and it's going to sit for a couple of hours. Then I will come back at that point and demold the dice, and we will all get to see what it looks like. But it will be a couple of hours when I go to demold. But before we do that, we're going to finish that one die, put it all together, and we're going to work on the coasters. So I'm going to check and see if this is ready, because it's stuck to my mat. Yeah, it's ready. All right, let me clean it up real quick, and we will drop it in that last one and let it get ready to be fired on. You can thank my good friend Haste. He got me into streaming. He helped me set up, and I appreciate it. He's a really good, talented man. And a good gamer. He plays different games. We play Phasmo together, Grounded together. We play... I don't play zombies, but he plays zombies. So if you're into zombies, go watch him. He plays a lot of zombie games. Then he also plays 7 Days. I've tried it. I just don't care for it. He plays with my husband. And I'm like, y'all have fun. I'm not going to play it, but y'all can. But that's okay. We all have our special things we like. Alright, so this ball came cleaned up very nicely. I like it. So I'm fixing to drop it in. So here's the ball. And I'm going to shake it. Make sure that all the resin that fell in there, because all of the balls you're going to have resin that falls in. Make sure I can actually see it. This one's not shaking up. I'm going to be upset. Nope, it's shaking up. So I don't know if you can see it falling, but it's got a lot of glitter in it. And we're going to stick it in this one. Let it sit for a good hot minute. I'm going to take this toothpick and shove it into the middle, because that's setting up nicely. That needs to go back down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Alright, that's sticky. Look at that. It's getting sticky. I like that. Okay. So, I see some of the areas on this did not stick the resin to it. It actually wanted to go towards the middle, so I'm going to add more resin to make sure all of those are stuck. I'm going to add resin here. Alright, while that one is setting up, I am going to take my my toothpick, and I can turn that UV light off. I'm alright. Move it out of the way. Hey, I got room to work again. Whoop, whoop. Alright, so now I'm going to take my toothpick, and go around the edges, because this is getting sticky, because it is on the mat, so it is actually working a lot faster. And you don't want to add bubbles. You want to get all the bubbles to the top as much as you possibly can without adding bubbles. And sometimes it's hard. And I'm getting up underneath these little lips here on these dice, because that likes to keep bubbles. And I don't like to keep bubbles on my dice. That one's still doing. And this one we're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I want to go down below. Make sure it's getting some resin underneath that ball and not just a broken tip. Alright, and this one. I have tools, but I'm also working on some cosplay outfits for the Ren Fair for this next weekend. So all my tools are kind of like everywhere right now. So I'll just use the Q-tip. Okay, so there's something there. That ball. It moved. Okay. So, well, what I'm going to do now, I see that one keeps popping up. It's not sticky enough. That one wants to keep popping up. It'll quit popping up when I put the lid on it. I'm going to put this lid this away. Not quite sticky enough because it's still not sticky enough. I wanted to do like a dollop when I do these. I don't want it to be runny like this. You can see it moving across the thing. I just need it to be like a dollop style. And it's getting there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, before anything else happens, I am going to take my lighter. I see the bubbles. I'm going to pop all of the bubbles. Or all that I can. Looks like there's something in that, so let me see if I can get it out. Got it. Well, got most of it. That was a bubble there. And then I'm going to pop the bubbles. Bubbles. I feel like Nemo not Nemo himself, but the fish that on Nemo that's in the tank, and the bubbles come up and he says, "Bubbles, bubbles, my bubbles." That's what it kind of feels like. Alright. And then always do your lid too, because there's bubbles on the lid and I can see them underneath. Right here's some. I don't want bubbles on my lid. Now the hardest part on the liquid dye I thought would be adding the actual liquid to the balls and everything, but it's not. It's actually the lid that's the hardest part. See how it's sticky now? That's what I want. But I gotta get some. It's got bubbles there. I just don't want bubbles onto where the dye go. I don't care if it's in the outer edges, but not where the dye or the numbers are. Because you can't clean them up later. You have to do it now. The bubbles, I mean. Okay. So, what I'm going to do now, this is sticky enough. It's still movable. This, I'm going to move to the center here for a minute. And this, I'm going to pour more. Well, shoot. These two want to play with me. I'm going to push those down. Push that one down. I'm going to pour more resin. And this resin, I'm pouring all the way around all of the dye. And I will pop them. But I want it to be as much resin on top that I can get, because when I put the lid on, I'm going to lose resin. So there we go. And look, it took all 100 milliliters. Alright, I'll get my lighter back out and I'm going to pop it real quick. All the bubbles. Don't look like there's that many bubbles on this part. There's one there. Where's that? Because you don't want bubbles getting into your dice. Don't understand what that is. Whatever it was, I got it out. Okay. Now, here's the fun part. Putting the lid on. And you do it as slow as you possibly can, but yet nice enough to make sure all of this stuff locks. And you see the resin is coming out. It's supposed to. So I'm going to stick something on it. Trying to get it locked into place. There we go. Need something heavier. Something heavier. Get a book, but then it will stick to it. Got something. I got a candle. That's heavy. I can put in the center. There we go. Look at all that resin that came out. I'll find something to do with it when it dries. I can break it up and make it into, like, not glitter, but flakes inside of a sphere or something. So before I keep this on there, I'm making sure there's no bubbles on the center, and I see one of the dice. So there, this one has a bubble, and it looks like this one has a bubble. So what I'm going to have to do is open this up and try to get the bubbles out. And if I, especially on this edge one, but the center one, I'm going to have to move it out like so. And this one put back in. Now there's no bubbles on any of my dice, so I can put this back on. Okay. Alright, I'm going to leave that sitting for a few. And before I get started on this other, I'm going to let that sit. And then we'll come back in about 2 hours time and we'll check it all out. So in the meantime, y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all soon. Well, maybe. There we go. Alright, guys. I'll see y'all in a couple hours. Welcome back, Haste. I'll be back in a couple of hours if you're not sleeping. You'll get to see me demold the dice. I'm going to clean up my mess and get me a lunch. So I will see y'all soon.